And we're live. Hello and welcome to TTV Talks. I'm Jonathan Juan, your host, and today I'm joined by Var.
I hate you.
Flef. Thanks, Flef. And X.
What?
Flef, you said something, we can't hear you. X, say hi to the audience.
Hi, audience. How you doing? Flef's not here right now, or we wish she would be. But I
Well,
am
she was here just a minute ago.
I am here
Did
with
she
you,
leave?
with you all.
No,
I said you.
Oh.
I guess we just couldn't hear you. Sorry about that.
You
So-
can never hear me.
I can hear you
It
right
feels
now.
like that
Hey,
nowadays.
is it okay if I eat in this because I'm eating on this right now?
Yeah,
Just
sure.
like
You can...
What
lean
did you get
away
at
from the
McDonald's,
mic a
man?
little bit, but sure. Okay. What did you get?
I got
My trigger word. Don't say it.
well, I got a burger, surprisingly enough.
From
But it's
McDonald's?
one of those new McDonald's burgers. You know, they got like that.
Is it the Mississippi one?
What?
Did you get sweet potato fries?
No.
We've got like.
We don't have that.
Yeah, I don't know what
You
you're
guys
talking about.
suck.
We got 3 new burgers. There's like an avocado one.
Why do you not have sweet
What?
potato fries? You guys
There's
are
an
horrible.
avocado burger. There's a barbecue bacon burger, and then there's like a maple something bacon burger. I got the
Yum.
barbecue bacon one because bacon needs to be in everything. 'cause
Bacon everything, basically.
It's
is what you're
America.
saying. Oh.
Interesting.
Oh. Do you have like pizza in the burgers as well?
Got it on a nice artisan. I think you probably can get pizza with bacon on
That's
it.
something.
You can. I worked in pizza for a good while, so
Oh
you
boy.
can indeed do that.
That's something.
Welcome to America, dude. Dude,
So-
speaking of America, you know that channel Wisecrack?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I know that channel.
No.
They posted a video called "The Philosophy of Spider-Man,"
Okay.
and the entire video was just like Spider-Man is America. And it was like talking about like how Spider-Man goes over or Spider-Man uses his powers for good despite not wanting to, just like how America goes overseas and uses their power for good despite not wanting to. And as you can imagine, the comments are just like,
Oh boy. What a can of
Everywhere.
worms. What a can of worms. Good grief. I
the
even
dislikes are great.
It's not a can of worms. That's a barrel of worms.
that
Don't
yeah.
you just love that?
It's a
I figured it would be
big,
topical since we've got 2 people who aren't Americans here.
Hi,
It's
I
a
am not
big-
American.
fat oil barrel full of worms.
Hey,
So, real quick before we get anything else, I want to say TTV Talks is brought to you by our Patreon at patreon.com/TTV channel. Donate there and you can be a part of our live studio audience and also call in. But we do actually 5 different topics in this show. 4 by the hosts, 1 by a call in. So, if you have a topic, post it in the call in chat here and we will choose one of you to come on the show. All right, continue.
so like, what is your this is directed at Fleff and X.
Oh,
Hi.
cool.
How do you view America?
That's
Fat.
Big guy.
topic number 1. How do you guys view America? Okay.
If you picture all the countries in like a hair saloon, you know, and everyone's
Hair
just sitting there
saloon?
quietly.
Hold
Yeah,
up, hold
hair
up.
saloon. They're
Hair
they're
saloon?
sitting there quiet. No, they're sitting there quietly, you know. Well, all the countries, you know. Like England sitting by the door, and you know, right next to him is like some other country we don't care about, and then like on the other side are like 2 girls hopping around and like making a huge noise that like makes the entire rest of the hair saloon completely quiet. That's America.
Okay, yeah, I
Okay.
can see that actually. It's just kind of America talking to itself, and everybody sat there, just like, should we say it?
That's kind of
I
America
feel
right
like
now.
America is a self-sustaining, and it's kind of
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's my.
Except the
little
2
weird
girls
thing.
are arguing. Because that's
yeah,
all
it's drama.
Yeah,
They're
I
drama.
know you know more than me, man.
It's true. I do.
It's like it's an episode of Jeremy Springer show, and like they are other people in the saloon are unaware that they are the live audience.
You know, okay, hold up. That's actually kind of interesting because my mom, so I'm a first generation immigrant, right? My mom, when she lived in Malaysia, she thought of America as like this place and she saw in like TV shows, like the 1950s. So like something like I Love
Yeah.
Lucy and that kind of thing. That's what she grew up with and that's what she thought America was. So if I were to say like think of a show that represents America, what like TV show comes to mind? That's like this is America.
Like iCarly and Drake and Josh, and because that's the TV shows I grew up with. I'd say, and Friends as well. Friends is really popular here.
I'm thinking about a show that sounds like they're hunting ducks, but that's not what it's called.
Duck Dynasty?
Yes.
You know, the guys from Duck Dynasty, are like, they don't only come to my college. Their son goes to my college, so I've seen them around on campus. I don't talk to them, but my friend is actually good friends with Sadie and the two kids, Sadie and John Luke.
That's what that's what people think Meso is like as a stereotype. They're like, well, Meso's from the south, so you just think of Duck Dynasty. It's just like the country twang.
You're not
the
far off.
dang dang dang.
Can confirm. Living in the South, I have definitely seen people that remind me of the Duck Dynasty crew.
100%.
Oh,
In their big red trucks with bullet holes in them.
oh boy.
I have absolutely seen that before.
So
I have as well.
Questions today.
Well, okay. Well, someone asked, Craddock asked for me and Var, what do we think of the UK or just Europe in general? What do you think, Var?
Of the UK, I think of really posh, really like uppity people that are like,
Hilarious.
oh, I think I'll have some tea today, and blah blah blah, and they also have a bunch of made up words in their vocabulary.
The
Like,
made up words.
I think I'll put some flippity blue into my my pop it up to tea. It'll be great. Blah blah blah.
Blah blah.
Could I have 2 globs of
Give it
sugar
to
in
you,
my
it's
ginger
not
tea?
bad.
Yeah, I want 2 globs of fagger splotch in my tea.
What?
To be fair, you're not wrong. We do make up words. Like when I first joined this like group of people who are mostly from America, I remember just like saying, "Oh yeah, you know, take the out of like," and you're like, "What? What?" And I was like, "I mean,
Yeah,
take the
sayings are very weird.
like, oh, we took the Mickey out of him," and they're like, "Wait, what? What did you took the what out of the what?"
Took the Mickey out of him. I remember that one. We were talking like, do you take Mickey Mouse out of him? Like, what were you doing?
Like,
What is Mickey? Why are you taking him out of
Mickey?
Yeah.
I think of big red buses.
Yeah.
And I think of the Queen.
The Queen.
Phone boxes.
Long live the Queen. And I think of, let me see, what else do I think of? Honestly, it's tea. It's weird made up words, very posh attitudes, big buses, and the Queen.
I think of like Eurotrash.
Only, like,
Buses, and I cannot lie.
I think of
which
either
is
the. Go on.
There's that part of England is only like 10% of what England actually is, which is exactly how America kind of, I feel like America feels, and everybody's like, yeah, I'm American and I'm dumb, and it's like, and then America's like, that's not everybody, come on.
You know, like, you ever seen Kingsman, the Secret Service, and there's, like, the bullies? That's what I think of when I think of the UK. Or there was, like, those chavs, I think they're called, right? They're like
chavs. They're basically white trash, but in the...
That and, like, the IT crowd.
That is the perfect description.
Oh, the IT crowd.
The IT crowd.
Good.
That's what I'm thinking of. I saw the British version of The Office.
That's a really good show.
And that was, like, it was interesting because the first episode
with,
is the same
I
episode
can't-
as the
Ricky
American
Gervais.
Office. Ricky Gervais and the what's his name? Morgan
I don't know the other guy's name.
what's it?
I watched,
He's
Ricky
Bilbo. What's his name?
Gervais.
Morgan Freeman? Morgan Freeman? Yeah.
Morgan Freeman. With Morgan Freeman, I'm gonna go with that one.
And then,
Martin Freeman.
Martin-
Thank you,
you're right,
Precious.
you're right.
Guys,
Martin.
What is?
Oh no, that's why I thought, I was like, Morgan Freeman isn't right. Morgan Freeman's someone completely different. Who am I thinking of? But I couldn't think of the other.
Morgan
Martin
Freeman's the dude.
The black
that
dude,
everybody
right.
wants in their movies.
Right.
Like, 'cause
He'll
he's
take
got
any
such
role.
an amazing voice.
Dude, that's amazing. I completely forgot who Morgan Freeman was, only because in my mind I was attributing that name to Martin Freeman. And like
Yeah.
when I googled the picture of Morgan Freeman, I'm like, well, yeah, I know that guy, but that's not Morgan Freeman. There's no way.
I like the UK's TV better.
Just imagine Var could have met the actual Morgan Freeman, but he didn't remember him as Morgan Freeman. He's just
Right. He was like, oh, I met Martin, but
Oh, another thing.
I met
about
Martin
British people
Freeman.
I attribute intelligence. I think British people are really smart, but they're also very blunt. And like
yeah,
rude
they're
and
honest.
mean.
I
Blunt,
mean,
rude and mean.
honestly,
But, you know-
I think it's funny because in public we're actually not. We're actually incredibly polite to the point where it's just like, okay, you're just like, you obviously hate me and my
Right.
guts and my existence, but you're just being nice because that's
Well,
our
I would say the
society.
same thing about America.
For example,
like, there's
the-
Southern hospitality is a thing.
you think Canadians are bad when they apologize for things? Like, we are very similar. Like, we say thank you for everything just because everybody's like, you better say thank you. You need to say thank you or sorry every time like something's a minor inconvenience or like a minor plus, and you're just like, oh, thank you so much. But because, you know, the accent and everything, it sounds so legitimate, but really it's just us going thank you, just
You know-
like as this simple as breathing. You just don't realize how much you say it.
Now that you mention it, I do remember seeing a bunch of like this
We're not
Twitter
blunt
that was
at
like,
all,
yeah, that was like
unless-
polite to the point of like inconveniencing yourself is the British thing.
Yeah.
One of the examples is like when like someone asks you for a pen and you know you don't have one, but you make like you pat yourself down and you like
No,
you
I'm very
you're looking
sorry
for it
I
and then you're
don't
like, oh,
have
I'm really
one.
sorry I don't have one. Right? You go that extra mile to be polite, and everyone hates it, but like you know you have to do it.
It's the way it is. However, like that means it's way more like, I don't know. It's shocking when someone's blunt in England. From what I've seen, like whenever someone's rude or like complains at a restaurant, it's like people in England. I think
Well, when I
it kind of sums up
when I
for me.
think of bluntness, I don't usually think of it in like an everyday conversation. I think of it more in like the context of humor. Really blunt and like honest humor that I think of. Like
Yeah,
Simon Cowell,
blunt
for
humor and
instance.
sarcasm.
Like,
Yeah.
his whole thing is like going in and just being completely like blunt and honest about his feelings of
Oh, that's
people's
Simon
terrible
Cowell's
talent.
hilarious, but he is really mean. Yeah.
Gordon Ramsay too.
Yeah,
There is
exactly.
this, like,
Gordon
other side.
Ramsay. Oh, dude, Gordon Ramsay is like the British person. That's who I think of when I think of Britain now. Now that I think about it, that's like everything that I attribute.
What
to
is the
Britain
lamb sauce?
Is it
His
frozen?
insulting.
Is the ice cream frozen? Yes. Oh! Tables.
Gordon Ramsay.
amazing.
It's funny how like the TV shows from Gordon Ramsay, like they change when they go overseas. Like beforehand, like the British shows are like really chilled out, and you sausage.
Sausage.
It's funny because my family likes the UK version better than the US version,
Yeah,
so I watch both of them. They're very different. Yeah.
Something that kind of like gets on my nerves a little bit, like with American shows and documentaries and stuff, is that like sometimes they make it so melodramatic. It's like, I know someone breathes and they put in that dramatic like sound effect where it's like doo doo. It's like that creepy sound.
Well,
And it's
Americans
just like,
love
why?
drama. We can't like
Why he breathed? What did he
Americans
do?
love drama in anything, whether it's like mundane
yeah.
stuff, stuff like
It is pretty fun. But
reality
like, too
TV, politics, whatever. It's like they like having that drama, that element there. That's why Survivor has lived so long, and so going forward with American TV, they want to have that tension between Gordon Ramsay and his cast. The best, honestly, I feel like the most honest version of Ramsay is when you do like MasterChef Junior. When he's talking to kids, he doesn't insult or like.
Yeah, he's not
Oh no,
He's a very
like, really
yeah, he's a really good guy with a lot of stuff to say, but his persona on the US is the insulting dude that like has all these quippy stuff that he says to everybody.
Yeah, like they always show like the climax of like the conflict at the beginning of the show. They're just like the bit when he's like up in the faces of the owners or whatever, and he's like, "You want to go outside? You want to go outside?" It doesn't actually, and then they cut to like a shot of one of the people going outside. And like, oh, they actually fight in the show, and you actually watch it, and you're like, no.
Yeah, they
Guy
always
just, like,
frame it
walks
like
away.
Right.
Yeah, they always like walks away and just like, well, that was disappointing. Like the only one I can think of is like Amy's baking shop, which
Oh,
actually became,
Amy's
like,
Baking Company.
yeah, Amy's Bakery.
Man, I had you guys sync watch that once I came back. I saw the episode. I'm like,
So
we have to
nice.
watch this.
I am such a fan of. I think I've watched pretty much every episode of Kitchen Nightmares. I've seen.
Same.
Oh, it's so good.
I think I missed 4. I watched the latest. I think it was 7 and 6. I think those were the latest 2 seasons. I could be wrong.
Right.
Have you watched Hotel Hell?
Yes, I have. I also
Yes.
love that. Dude,
There's
every
I have
Gordon
not
Ramsay
watched
show
Hotel
I
Hell.
watch. I love
In-
Gordon Ramsay. I'm
in-
subscribed to his YouTube channel.
His
I
Twitter's
follow him
so
on
great.
Twitter.
His Twitter, people will send him pictures of their food and he'll roast them on Twitter. It's the best thing.
I love the one where it's like, do you like my like beans and mash or whatever? He's like, no, like it's like since who is it? You're in prison, mate. What are you talking about? Like the plate was like steel, so it looked like a prison food, like it looked like prison food. It was just yeah, and there was like one where it's like you know, I can't actually think of one, but there was one in particular. It just made me laugh where the guy had like his feet in the background, and he's like, "It would be good if your ugly feet weren't in the background." And I didn't even notice, like these like horrifically looking toes,
You just gotta put
just
some
like
olive
in the
oil on it,
background.
I like it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
in regards to what I think of Norway,
Oh, hey. How you doing?
I forget Norway exists. I don't even know what I would think of Norway.
Aw, he's gonna play that card.
No,
It's
I mean,
really
like,
terrible.
I think of blonde girls, honestly. Norwegian women, that's what I think of, to be completely honest.
Blonde people.
Yeah, blonde people with their hair in
McDonald's.
braids.
Where there's
Blonde
just
people
lined
is
up
like blonde
with
people
blondes.
is the thing that I think of whenever I think of like any European country that's not like the UK. I just think of blonde people. Except I guess maybe Spain. I don't really
Blonde
think of blonde
people.
That's you can thank the Vikings for that one. You know, that's our ancestry doing.
Oh, I
its
think of
thing.
grass. Really green
Grass.
Fields of grass.
Fjords. You know.
All there is fields of grass where I am. The north's way more interesting looking, but it's still pretty much grass.
Yeah,
It's just
I think of
flatlands.
grass. Any European country, it's just like there's grass everywhere.
Really?
scene in
Not
Harry
the
Potter.
Alps or anything?
That scene in
What?
Harry Potter where they're running away from the Dementors, just grass. That's what I think.
That's just
Oh.
England. Like that, it's way more interesting in Europe than you've got like the Alps and you've got like the mountain line there.
Yeah, I remember you posting like
At that
a
point,
like a Google Earth like screenshot of like the general area where you live, and it was just all
Oh, yeah, it was
green.
just
It was
grass.
just
Fields.
green and nothing.
it was just
everywhere.
grass. It was
I've
like,
never seen so much green before in my life.
you know when you zoom in, like if you zoomed in on like a patch of grass on the computer and it's all pixelated, but there's different shades of green. That's what my like area looks like. And then you zoom out, it's just a patch of grass. That's it. It's just grass everywhere.
So Crassix.
Yeah, where I live, aerial view is like pixelated. Grass. But I don't really know too much about Norway. I always get confused, like, and think Norway and Sweden are the same, and like they're just kind of like
Same. See, that's the thing.
Mhm.
I don't think of Norway. I think of Sweden.
Sweden
Sweden's the
and
place that I
Norway
think of.
and
Well, Sweden gave up the entire coast, so they're the less smart ones, you know.
oh, I'm where Amsterdam is, Dutch. I can't remember the actual name of the country.
Netherlands?
Yeah, the Netherlands.
Denmark. Yeah, Denmark. I think. Yeah,
Danes.
Denmark definitely.
Amsterdam's
Yeah,
in Denmark.
those.
No, Amsterdam's
Yeah.
in Netherlands. The Netherlands. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's the
No,
Netherlands.
there's another word for it. Holland. That's it. Holland. Yeah, those group of countries kind of like merge into one for me. They're just like they're a place where everything's more like legal, like certain medicinal things.
Holland
Even
is
though
also in the
only
Netherlands.
one country does that I'm sure of, but it's just kind of yeah, that's basically.
All right.
I just think
Fair
it's
enough.
cold. It's cold because, funnily enough, England is like sort of mild and cold, but it should be colder because we're level with like Greenland, which is covered in snow, but because of the air from the Atlantic current, it actually keeps us warm, but in the worst, humid, disgusting type way. It rains a lot. And there's a lot of grass, and oh gosh, I hate our weather so much.
Would you we should probably be
Recently,
moving
'cause
on.
It's been quite sunny.
We should probably be moving on to another topic before
Yeah.
too long, because I want to make sure we're able to hit everything in time. Does anyone have anything they want to say finally on this topic?
Nah.
Or kind
Every
of talked to the death.
country like has its good and bad things.
Every country is bad. America all the way. Anyone who doesn't live in America is
All right.
Canadian trash.
Well,
You can't buy like
gonna-
extra.
All those
if you
people
can't
listening to
buy
this live
extra
stream,
large
if you're not in America, you are
McDonald's,
trash. Heck, even if you are in America, you are trash. I hate you all.
White trash.
make
Yeah,
nothing
even if
great
you're not
again.
White, you are white trash.
Your trailer trash. Get out of here.
Okay.
Right, drive your red truck.
Classics in the live streaming audience, just like you posted. That's how I see America. Pretty
you go.
much. What I
Yep,
just
that's
did,
basically
how
it.
Other people think America is.
So I'm gonna go with my topic for a bit here. Travel, specifically travel by planes, because I have just ordered the plane ticket. Because I'm going to RTX in Austin next week, which is kind of this new development that I'm really excited about. But yeah, so I haven't been on the plane since 2013. 2013 is the last time I rode on the plane. You guys have all taken a plane kind of recently, I believe. I know you have, Flef, and Var, you did as well. X, I don't know when the last time you took a plane was, but kind of, what do you guys think of plane travel? Any things you have to say about it?
love
Any tips or
planes.
tricks? You took a plane the last time Meso took a train, and you said he was an idiot for doing it. I agreed with you, but
Oh yeah. I don't know
Have
why
you ever-
wouldn't take a plane.
it was the same price.
It was the same price,
the same
and
price.
it cost him like an extra 24 hours.
You literally took an extra day for him to ride the train.
Planes are great. I love it.
Yeah,
I just
I like. Go on.
Sorry. I was gonna say I don't know what it is about it, but like I even just like walking around in airports. Like assuming it's a good airport, there's some really really crappy airports out there, but I just like I like the atmosphere. I like just walking to my next plane trip, getting on the plane and
Man,
going.
you like this?
Yeah, I do, man. To be fair, I've never ridden on an international plane, and I've never had a ride on a plane that takes more than like 4 hours at the most. So maybe that's why I've got such a positive like perception of a plane travel, because like it doesn't take that long, and like it's just really like quick way to travel, and it's just kind of fun.
For me, it's like, well, I've been on a plane just from Colorado to Illinois, and I've also been in a plane from Illinois to Malaysia, which is on the other side of the world. It's a 30-hour plane ride. And that's
Ooh,
just
I
in
don't know how you
plane.
do that.
So that one,
Boy.
now we
Yeah.
did get lucky. Singapore Airlines is one of the nicest airlines out there, and they opened a new route, and it was like super cheap. So we got a ton of tickets on there, and so we had. Even though we were in coach, it was like being in first class. They gave us like the towels, with the the hot towels. They gave us like, it was the first one with
Oh,
like
yeah, I know
TVs.
those.
We had food that was actually good. The food they served was actually like pretty good for airline food. It was like a meal. It was like steak. It had like applesauce. It had like all this stuff to it. But it was still a long flight. I don't know if I do that again anytime soon. My main thing against planes is that they're so expensive here in the U.S. I don't know why. Because you
They're
think
expensive
people,
here as well.
not
You
that
see the
much.
plane- I haven't booked tickets in America, but they are expensive here.
What's expensive for you? What is your thing?
Well, just flying to America is expensive.
Yeah, I mean
Hence
flying,
why I'm not
but
going.
flying in the UK though. From like,
Flying in
It's
the
not that
UK,
big, right? You can
I
just
haven't
drive.
actually. Yeah, I mean, like you don't really need to fly. Like, there's not. It's kind of. It's obviously more expensive.
that's what's. Well, I guess
But
I was
it's
kind of
kinda
thinking
like,
about like
what's
from
the
the UK to another country in Europe is still very cheap.
Maybe
Oh,
prior to
it
Brexit.
won't be as cheap now,
yeah.
like
Gonna go
because
up.
of Brexit.
Well,
That is true.
It's
That
gonna
is
go
true.
up, but
With
it
that
was
said, how
it was
much,
cheaper to get
Yeah,
there.
how much was it to like go from the UK or from
So
work
I
like
went,
London to another place?
I went to 3 different places. I went to Germany, Portugal, and Italy, and that costs about around 200-300 pounds.
Each
there
or
you go.
total? Each or total?
200 pounds.
I can go
Yeah.
to England for $40
See,
back and forth.
Right. that is
It's just
crazy for
trip
me.
money though.
You're
is part
going
of-
from one country to another. If I went from that price, if you double that, make that
That's
like
a plane ticket to another state.
yeah, make that like 600 pounds. That's how much it would cost me
Easy.
from North Carolina to New York.
Right now,
you guys are
I am paying $428 to go from where I am, Virginia, to Austin, Texas. $400.
Well, you guys have like longer to travel to get somewhere, because like.
But yeah, also like
traveling
how long does it take to get from one state to another?
It takes me only a couple hours to get from North Carolina.
Oh, let me put you this way. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna fly. I'm gonna drive from my place to Var's place. But how much would it take to fly? For me, it's 3 hours to go. If I were to take a plane, it would cost me $328. Plus an extra like 2 hours to the trip because I have to like go through connecting flights.
Yeah, because my argument was going to be, well, even though, you know, my flights are cheaper, there's not actually much distance I need to go because Europe's actually, in comparison to America, are actually smaller than certain states in America. It's massive.
Yeah. To be fair, it also depends on when you get your tickets, because like right now I'm looking at it, it's actually really, really cheap at the moment to go from
Yeah,
North
I mean,
Carolina to New York.
like, I was going to
Round
say
trip
also,
is like $200 at the moment. I've never seen it that cheap before. So I really kind of
there's nothing
going.
going there's nothing going on right now, so that's fair. Like we've always had to go around events, right? We go to Toy Fair, we go to Comic-Con, we do that thing.
Yeah, in comparison to like kind of America as a whole, I feel like Europe is quite small. It feels smaller. Like, I don't know, like there's something. I feel like Europe is like quite narrow in comparison to America. America feels like so wide and vast.
Yeah, it's a real big,
like,
real big landmass for sure.
Yeah, and then
I
you
am
also
still
got-
surprised how many states we actually have in our country where there is just like nothing
50.
for the majority of the state.
I forget
like
you
you-
have 50.
Yeah, we've got 50 states. But like, I'm trying to think of one. Like I don't know. Yeah, Nevada, Montana. Prentice in the live studio audience has mentioned that. Yeah, exactly. States like that where you're like driving for like long periods of time, like 3 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours, and it's just like nothing. It's just empty sand. No civilization.
Especially
anywhere.
North Dakota. I know there's a lot of jokes about nothing being in North Dakota.
Yeah. So it's just like it's interesting. America's like too big for its own good sometimes. It
Yeah,
seems.
when I went to Florida, in I think September, August time. No, it would be September, November time. Around that time, we went driving, and I just remember how hard it was to stay awake because the roads would just go on and on and on, like just a straight line for hours, and it's just like, oh my god, please show a bend, like please, like in England there's a lot of countryside, so there's a lot of small roads you go down, and obviously it's more interesting than just having a big interstate that's empty at like 11 o'clock at night, and you're just like going on forever. It's just like, this is a form of hell. Like it just keeps going forever. Oh gosh. It was scary how many times like we almost like the driver and that almost like fell asleep. Like I was too scared to go to sleep because like everyone was just so tired because you'd been going for like Disneyland and stuff. So it was just like, please don't fall asleep. I do not want to die.
I've road tripped so many times. So I like, whenever I do planes, it's always it's a give and take because planes are so expensive for me. But at the same time, they're so like, I'm used to, if I'm going to New York, that means it's a 20-hour trip. I'm going to drive from Illinois to New York. And I've done that like 3 times where I've gone straight from Illinois and I drove through, Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania, like all these states essentially to get to New York for Comic-Con twice and Toy Fair once. So for me, like a 4-hour trip where I do nothing is like unheard of to me. I just don't do that very often. It's the first time I'm going on a plane again, and it's because my parents were afraid that the car wouldn't make it to Austin and back.
That's a concern that I completely understand. I do like appreciate planes, but whenever I get on them, it is like I do feel slightly nervous every time I get on one. And also, like, I hate sitting down for so long. Like, when I went to America, the last time I came back last year, it was like, 7 hours, and like I was able to deal with it when I went to Brick Fair, but when I went back for like the fourth time, it was just like I was starting to get like, you know, when your like legs start to get sweaty and they get sore. Like my legs were doing that, and like, oh god, it was so painful. Like I was just trying to like shuffle and like try and fall asleep, but I just couldn't do it. And plus the turbulence. Oh boy, that turbulence though was. I was sat in the toilet and it literally like shook me. All of a sudden it was just like I was like, oh no, we're not going down while I'm in here, please. Just imagine like the plane suddenly.
That would be the worst place to be during a plane crash.
Suddenly,
In the
like,
toilet.
like expelled is floating up in the air with you, and you're just like, help. No, that's like, yeah. There's so many nightmarish things that could happen with planes, but really it's like one of the safest forms of travel because of all the things that can go wrong. You're more likely to die in a car than you are in a plane.
Yeah.
Or automobile.
Well, I think about it. Like, it's weird because you don't think about it because you drive a car every day, but you encounter so many cars that could collide with you at any moment. In planes, you really don't. But like, when you hear about the fact is planes crash so rarely. Every time one does, we hear a whole news thing about it because it happens so rarely.
Plane crash.
If they did a news report every time a car crashed, you know, that would be like a 24-hour channel. You know, can you imagine? So
There'd be a new one every minute.
Right.
Here's another thing too. Like, any idiot can get a driver's license. Not any idiot can become an air pilot.
Honestly, when I went to get my license,
Driver, not
it
people,
was
you know.
it was insanity how easy the test was. I couldn't.
Oh
imagine
yeah, in America,
anyone
16-year-olds can get a car license. Over here, it's a year off, which honestly is not.
I think you can get a permit at 14.
In some states, you
Here in
can.
North Carolina.
It is not possible.
Drivers.
It's not possible in I think it wasn't possible in Illinois, and it's not possible in Pennsylvania. But I think it's true in Virginia. I honestly don't know because I wasn't 14 when
It
Virginia.
varies.
It does vary
depending
from
on
state to state.
states. Yeah.
But
So,
man,
you have some very young drivers here in America.
what's the longest road trip you guys ever been a part of?
Mine was from I
Sweden.
think.
How long was that?
It was like the entire day. Like, you'd wake up early in the morning and then you come there at night. That's it.
Here's the
Mine was
thing.
probably from, I can't remember the name of. It was on the West coast. It was from.
Just how long is it in hours?
It was literally like a day and a half. Like, we had to stop at a motel.
I don't know how long it was.
City on the west, but I can't remember the name of it. I always forget names.
But I've been with my family. We drove from like South Carolina all the way down to Florida to go to Disney World. Thing is, I was like a toddler. I don't remember it at all. So I don't know if that really counts. For me, the only road trip I can remember being a really long time is going to Brick Fair. It was from North Carolina to Virginia. Actually, wait a minute. What am I saying? I'm an idiot. My dad's a trucker. I've driven all over the U.S. Never mind. I guess I don't really count that because it's just kind of like living when you're in a truck.
Right. Because I mean, you're not doing the driving, right?
Yeah, it's not like you're on a road trip. It's just kind of like you're just existing and you happen to be on the road.
Okay, I know where it was. It was from California to Las Vegas and then back. Which isn't actually that long. Maybe my family's just really slow at driving, but...
Wait, you went from California, like Las Vegas to where?
California.
Oh, okay. So just anywhere in California, or like?
It was to visit my uncle. Sorry, my cat.
It doesn't matter too much. Because isn't Nevada like right next to California?
And it's like, yeah, like I remember going through the Nirvana desert. Like that was one of those moments in my life that my mind snapshotted it because it was so beautiful. And like I was only 5 at the time, and like I still remember how amazing it was. Like seeing the sunset over Nirvana desert while driving. Like it was just, well, I wasn't driving, but I was sat in the back. And we had to like I had to sit in the footstool because there was like, based on rooms, like you had to pay more if there was more people.
Oh boy, here comes my cat.
They decided like we'll have like a 2 double bed and then smuggle Beth in the footstool. So I just sit in the footstool and they checked the car. It was so funny. I loved being like, I don't know, smuggled into a motel. That was pretty fun.
Okay.
All
Well,
right.
should we move on from travel?
Yeah, I think it's time to move off past this topic and on to the next one. I'm gonna make an executive decision and say, Flef, you're gonna go next.
Aw.
Next, I gotta save the best for last, buddy.
I feel like I was gonna go with online shopping, but I feel like I'm just gonna like broaden it out a little bit and just talk about like, you guys seen any good deals recently? Feel like, you know, got a bang for your buck.
I haven't spent any money on
The Steam
also
sale's
food
going
for a
down.
while.
No,
Like, what's
honestly,
the
same deal.
deal you've ever gotten? Like,
The best
deal.
deal I've ever gotten.
Well, the best. See, the best deal that I ever got, I didn't end up getting because LJ got it.
Yeah. But
so it's like
at the
best
same
deal
time,
that I ever got was when like a fan offered to sell us a Golly mask, the what was it, the mask for the inside tour. It's like super rare or whatever, and it was like only for like $200 or something like that. And I was going to get it, but then it was like, well, I need this money, so like I can get it like next week, I guess. And then LJ got it instead. So.
dang it, LJ.
Oh boy.
But that's probably the best deal I've ever seen. I can't really think of any other deals that I've had that were.
Yeah,
like...
I mean, I think it was just kind of like a varied topic of just about shopping and stuff, because that's what I've been doing to like keep my mind distracted recently. I went to a charity shop for like the first time and had a proper look for the first time, and I actually got some really good deals. I spent £13 altogether, which is about like $15. If you're like predicting.
Sorry, real quick,
you know.
charity shop. You mean kind of like a Goodwill or like a I don't know what we call them here. Actually, now I'm on the spot. But like a thrift shop. There we go. Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
okay.
yeah, it was basically like a second-hand. It was a hand-me-down store. Like, that's basically.
So
but
like,
the,
yeah, it's like a Goodwill.
The money goes to charity instead of like you keeping it or whatever. I don't know what thrift shops do over there, but like, I went in there and this was for like, I don't know, British Heart Foundation. So I just had a look in there. They always have quite good stuff because popular shops, so like more people give to that shop. So anyways, I was having a look. I ended up getting like 3 like designer shirts for like £3. Or like, well, they're not design, they're not Yeezys type designer, but they're like, usually the tops like that I was getting would usually be like £25 or something. Like, they were they're quite expensive at like retail price. Like, for example, there's a place called River Island over here, and it's a designer shop. I remember getting a bag from there that was like £40, and I never actually like could wear it because I was too short for the strap. So the bag would just hang down my knees, and it just didn't work out. It was the biggest rip off of my entire life. But anyways, I got a shirt from the same brand in this charity shop for like £3.25, and I fell in love with the idea of just getting a good bargain at that moment. I was like, I'm so happy. I don't even mind that people have won this, or like, it's kind of sad because someone bought that shirt and like they either like had outgrown it and just had to give it away. Like, it's just, but at the same time, it's like I'm happy that I was able to find some use in it. You know, like I feel like I'm being way more like recycling, but it's not recycling. It's more kind of a bargain obsession. But like, same with car boot sales. I don't know how many like Bionicles I've found at like car boot sales. I just look back in my mind, I'm like,
car boot sales.
It's like yard sales. sell.
Gotcha.
Except instead of the yard, like people put all their stuff in the boots, in the backs of cars, and they take them
Oh, I've heard of these. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They're like,
to like a big
They're
old,
cold car sales.
they,
Yeah.
you take them to a big old, yeah, you take them to a big old field, and then you like sell your stuff, and it's just like some of the best stuff you can find. Like you can find like some really amazing things at
I
car
don't think
boot
I've ever
sales.
seen one of these.
I just can't believe it.
I've only heard of them in
Another
other
man's
countries, not
treasure.
really in the U.S. all too
Yeah, I don't
much.
think I've
We do
ever
yard
seen one of
sales.
these in the US.
I have gotten a lot of, okay, the best deal possibly that my mom got for me. I didn't get it myself, but she got, she came back one day and she's like, hey, do you still like the Bionicle things? I was like, yeah, no, totally, because I'm like 16 and of course Bionicle's still going on, and so I'm like, yeah, of course. And she's like, well, I found some at this yard sale for you. And I said, cool. And she gave me this giant bag. And I was like, whoa, there's a lot of stuff. How much you get? It was all of the Toa Mata, all of the Toa Nuva, and all of the Borak for $6.
Okay.
For $6. And not just them. They were in their canisters with the instruction booklet and the thing. So
I
she...
know. What?
Some mom
I
out there,
lost
some
my
mom out there,
mind.
some kid went to college and his mom's
Some
like,
kid is really mad.
he's like, what did you do, mom? And the mom's like, well, you don't play with him anymore, so I thought I'll just give him away to some kid who needs them. I'm the kid that needed them. $6.
Oh my goodness.
That's
like
ridiculous.
a
That's the price of
life-
one Toa at sale price, right? Am I mistaken to that? Wasn't it like $6 or $7?
Thing. It's just so painfully good. It's
Oh,
just
man.
like you just screwed, like you made that guy's like life just worthless at that perspective, because you just collected all his like his friggin' like life at one point in his life, and now you've got it for like the price of one.
Man, they lost so much money in that sale, but my mom, both moms did not know the value of that. But like the moment I got it, I was like, oh, wow, this is incredible.
That's insane. Like I think another bargain I got was like, it was surprising to me. It was so shocking to me. I had to go over to like the cleric of the store, and I just had to go, is this correct? Is this actually £7, or am I like not looking at this properly?
What?
Like, and she was just like,
Well, yard sales, you know, as a kid, yard sales are like, this is just a promise of like a treasure hunt, kind of, you know. When my mom used to take me on yard sales all the time, and I'd go and she'd be like, okay, you can buy something for like $2, $3 here. And so like I would look and try to find something that I thought was really valuable. And sometimes you didn't get anything, you know, there's just like old Happy Meal toys or whatever. But other times you would find something legit. And just that those times made it all worth it, you know?
oh yeah, not gonna lie, like the majority of things you find are like absolute trash.
Garbage,
like,
garbage.
Yeah, the garbage. Also,
sometimes,
yeah,
yeah.
I was so surprised I had to go to the cleric to be blessed.
Right. There's
I
like so
meant
many.
clerk, but what the thing was, it was like you know when you go to a funeral and you get like those people with like really long black coats. Like or like Manhattan
Overcoats?
coats where they go to like the bottom of your legs. Well, basically, this is what it was, and I loved it. I looked at the price. My entrails almost fell out like my body because of how expensive it was. Then I looked at the bottom and it said 7. The original price was like £70. That means it was like divided by 10%. That was like. It was divided by 10. And that was how like less it was. They really wanted to get rid of that coat, and I was just like, hold on, let me get some pocket change for the designer coat.
My ex-roommate used
just
to be
walked out the
one of the
store.
most well-dressed men I ever knew. Like he was like, he knew all the stuff, but he would always get it when it was on sale, or if like a store was going out of like stock. So he would like tell me, he was like, hey, there's a sale here, or like this store is going out of business,
like
essentially.
network?
Kind of. His girlfriend's in fashion, and he was like, and he knew other people, you know, in that world. And so whenever something went on sale, they would go and get it. And so I went to, there's this Rue 21 that was closing down, and I bought literally almost $400. It was like $380 worth of stuff for like $38 because they're selling stuff at like 90% off. They just wanted to clear inventory.
I have literally never had any of these experiences before.
Oh boy.
Aw.
This is just heartbreaking.
Man, you should. It's great. I got a whole new wardrobe,
You need to
man.
get out there.
I threw out my old stuff a while ago, and I was like, I'm thinking about doing it again, replacing it with some of this cheap stuff I got.
Yeah.
But I mean, I
Like,
literally
I
I got
definitely-
10 shirts. I bought like 3-4 pairs of pants. I got like, you know, socks. I got a jacket. I got like all this stuff for like under $40. It was so easy to replace everything.
Kind of heartbreaking how expensive like pants / trousers are.
Mm-hmm.
Like you ever get that? It's just like kind of at a decent pair of trousers the other day, and they were so expensive, and I was just kind of feeling like, why is something so mundane so expensive? It's just like, oh, same with socks, same with underwear, and like bras for me. It's just like, why is something
have that
so
experience, but-
like necessary but mundane so expensive?
All of my girl space
Incredible.
friends. I don't know how else to describe it. I
Girl
refuse.
space friends.
I refuse to say gal friends, as Tequila likes it. But so all my girl space friends, they will whenever
Why are they in space? Why
the
are
space
they
is called the friend zone. X. Any.
Oh boy.
I'm kidding.
It's a girl
I'm kidding.
and a friend.
It's a girl and a friend. There's a space between girl and friend.
Why don't you just say female friends? Okay.
I
Go on.
can say that too. Sure. They always complain. They do complain about they do complain about how much bras cost. It's like a cost that I don't have to deal with as a guy, but like apparently they can like you can pay a lot for them. And it's a thing that like you have to have, so you have to keep buying it.
Get a Calvin Klein underwear for men, which is quite expensive.
Yeah, but like
Yeah, but like we have options though.
yeah, we have options. I can go to Walmart and get like a set of boxers, a 6
but,
boxer
like-
pack for like $10, you know?
Maybe even cheaper, like $5, $7.
I think
You know,
I think you can get cheaper bras, but they just like sometimes the Y will just pop out and just decide to stab you, like how Julius Caesar's.
you can get a whole
I've
pack
heard of
of
that.
underwear
Heard of
that'll
that.
last you a long time.
Underwear is the one thing I refuse to buy at a Goodwill. I will never ever buy underwear at a Goodwill or a thrift shop.
Can you buy underwear? At
Yeah,
a
I would
You can.
never.
You can.
I would never buy someone
Why?
else's underwear.
Why would you do
No.
that?
Dude, don't ask me.
Who
I've
buys
just said I wouldn't. I don't know. Apparently,
I don't believe that they actually resell those. That doesn't sound.
No,
sanitary.
I don't.
I
think they do, no.
listen,
'Cause
I
they
saw-
tell you in stores like don't wear the underwear. Like I know for swimming costumes they have to, so they put like that plastic film like across like the crotch area, so like it doesn't get contaminated. But with underwear, no, you're not allowed.
I
Like,
don't
they-
like. Here's what I will say. I remember seeing it in my thrift store as a kid because I told my mom about it, and my mom's like, "That's disgusting," and I'm like, "Yeah, who would wear someone else's underwear?" That's my memory as a kid. So I don't know if that was like it might have just been it wasn't
Maybe
even
it's
a
a
Goodwill.
dream.
It was a local thrift shop. Maybe that's a weird dream to have. It might be. I mean, like I'm not gonna like burn at the stake for it because it was a long time ago. But I do remember having the conversation with my mom. So
Well, I will take your word for it that you believe that is a thing. But I
Sure.
don't believe it.
Fair enough.
I can't believe
Fair enough.
that's a thing.
We're gonna go thrift shopping and when we go to Brick Fair.
Dude, let's do it. Let's go to
Let's-
a thrift
wanna
shop,
do it?
see if we can find underwear.
We got
Let
so
me
many
introduce
plans to
Brick
do stuff at Brick Fair. It's gonna be awesome.
I'm
Not-
so sad.
All right, we're not gonna
Fair.
have as
There's
much fun.
always- there'll be other times.
Yeah, there'll be. I'm coming to get you guys. I'm coming to get you.
You can do it.
I'm gonna
You
get.
can totally
I'm
do
gonna
it.
get a plane. I'm look out the window. I'm gonna be like, I'm coming to get you.
All right.
Okay, all right. Well,
I
let's.
found other stuff to do though, so
Yeah.
That's nice, but it's not. We will still miss
it
you
won't be
there.
as great as Brick Fair.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying we're gonna miss you
Sucks for
as your
you.
friends.
Yeah, we'll miss you.
We'll miss you. It was really fun having you there the last time. So, okay,
Drunk as a fart in a tent somewhere, missing you guys.
all right. Let's talk about the piece de resistance here.
Okay, well, there's two of
Yeah,
them.
look-
I've got one here.
Oh wait,
Thing
well
we were all
your thing was already at the
waiting for.
beginning though. You asked about like how people perceive other
I didn't
countries.
think that was an actual question. I was just starting a conversation.
Well, that's a topic though. You think we
I
just
didn't
like
have a
front load a
I
topic?
was just asking things.
That's what your topic is supposed to be, Var. All right, listen. Because we're doing decently on time now, I will let you do. But I'll let X go first because I told him he'd be next. All right.
Both of these are X's things.
Yeah, so I'll just take the one that Var has, because that's the
All
one
right,
I
fine,
wanted first.
fine. You take that.
All right, you take it. Take it.
No, Var take that one that he
Okay.
has now.
All right.
Cool. I will ask X's question.
Okay. Go for it.
Okay.
Okay. So here's the setup, right? You have 6 months of your life. Shut up, cat. You have 6 months of your life, right? Okay.
Okay.
It's going to repeat for the rest of your life. So
Oh,
for the
boy.
rest of your life, you're going to have to relive 6 months in your
So
life that you've experienced.
so that's
Which-
kind of,
Which 6 months will you choose?
but like it's
Spring.
worded.
I don't know.
It's worded really weird, because it's like, for the rest of your life, it's gonna be like, for basically eternity, you're gonna like live the same 6 months, and this is like after each other, so it's like in one.
What
take,
if you
and-
die? What
No,
if you
that's
get
the-
run over by a
that's
car?
the thing. That's the thing. This is it's like the
Maybe
theory
you
that they
die
have
it
in
down,
Steins Gate, in that it's reverse butterfly effect, in that no matter what happens, the same thing will eventually happen.
Yeah, so it's kind of
If
like
that- Yeah, so if someone is like,
like
if,
the
if a
whole
guy
time
wins the
thing.
lottery, if a guy wins the lottery one day, and you do everything you possibly can to prevent that guy from winning the lottery, he will
Still
no
win it
matter
anyway.
what you try to do. He will
Okay,
win the
I get what
lottery.
you're saying. Right. So time is set, and everything
like
you do
kind of-
it corrects itself.
So you just have to. It's
kinda
gonna
like
be like
that
a Call
whole-
of Duty campaign. It's just gonna be one ride, you know.
So
just
you can't
complete
change it
linear.
at all.
it's kind of like that time paradox that that always stops me from like getting sucked into time stuff. Is that like how do they not know that they changed time if they've already changed it already? Like that's the thing. If it's gonna happen anyway, like the whole Terminator thing, where they do all this thing and it happens anyway because it's already happened.
But like, here's my question.
that's the kind of
Because it still doesn't quite answer it. If I were to say, like, I don't know, buy a gun and kill myself, does it end, or will I just
It won't
respawn
happen.
and it starts?
It won't
over?
happen. You will. It will.
Shoot
You will.
your
You have no.
jaw.
You
Okay,
cannot
so
do
no,
anything.
you're
can't
literally
possibly
just
do that.
reliving. You're along for the
You're just
ride.
reliving. It's linear, dude. There's nothing you,
ju-
can do.
You sit there and you watch.
You sit there, and
Here-
it's basically like playing your life on
What
Call
about
of
I
Duty
this?
feel like
the rest of
you
your
kind
life. It's
of wouldn't
completely
realize
linear.
it have to be like you wouldn't realize.
Well,
Like,
yeah.
What about
cool.
this? What about
Same
this?
though.
So like, are you conscious of the fact that you were reliving this event?
I don't know. If you relive it like for eternity, don't you eventually just lose yourself?
What does that
No,
mean?
no, I don't get that. Wait, so are you aware the second time I go through this, in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh my god, I'm doing this again, and I'm like, no, body, stop, but my body doesn't stop.
Yeah, but
It's
you
like-
can't change anything.
I can't change
You
anything.
can't change. Like, there's no matter what you think or do.
Right,
like,
but are you aware? Hold up, are you aware?
Yeah, I was just wondering that.
Like,
Are
if
you
you're not
aware it's
aware, do you think that you're just living out life again and
It's
again
like
and again, and you don't
it's
know?
like an addiction, but you just don't know it. If that makes sense.
No,
Like,
but
you're-
okay,
Yeah,
here-
I
here's
know
my
what you
issue with that question, X. If that's true, if you're not aware, then it literally doesn't matter which 6 months I live. It literally doesn't matter. I'm just gonna live that again and again, like
Yeah.
because I'm not aware of it.
Yeah, because like right
could
now,
be any
I could
point in my
live the
life.
Same 6 months right,
Right,
now,
exactly.
I don't know.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
feel
that's
like
the thing. Like that was like saying the thing where you like if everyone eventually tries to kill themselves, and the other
Kinda
person-
just, like,
you
more
just got it,
interested
like,
in,
way
like-
too fast.
I feel like I'm just kind of more interested in like what they choose if
Okay.
you were to like.
In
Yeah,
that
true
case, then
Well,
I'm gonna
you
choose.
if you change the rule so that I am aware that I am reliving the same thing
Yeah,
and I,
I mean,
can't
it's
do
like
anything
you-
else
So
about
it'd
it.
be kind of like a choice. Like you choose to torture yourself.
It's like
this
a
way.
Right.
punishment.
So which 6 months would I choose?
I would choose the 6 months after my 45th birthday.
45th.
Yeah.
But
Why?
you haven't.
Exactly.
You're not that old.
If I'm going to relive the same 6 months over and over, I'm going to live it after a point in time where I probably have a family and I probably have a lot of memories I can remember in that time. Because I don't know what
Well,
it's
okay.
right now.
feel
Here's what I'm
like-
assuming. Here's what I'm assuming in this hypothetical is that I can only choose the 6 months that I have actually lived.
Yeah,
right now.
actually lived it,
Okay.
So like, let's
actually,
say
you know,
I walk
future.
outside and I get hit by a car. That's the end of my life, and now from this point on, I can choose to relive 6 months of what happened in my life.
Are you gonna
For
be
the
okay?
rest of
Mark?
eternity.
Really, that's a really good story concept. Like that, maybe
Which
that's what
6
heaven
months
is.
could I choose?
Heaven is like what, like 6 months of your life you can
Yeah,
choose.
okay.
So what's
That-
yeah?
that-
Okay,
that's it,
okay,
like,
okay,
that's it.
okay.
Heaven
Right.
exists, but it's only 6 months of the life that you have lived, that you will live on. You will repeat for the rest of eternity.
Because when you really think about it, like
It actually sounds more like limbo, but whatever.
heaven sounds really nice.
Like
at
purgatory.
first, then
Yeah.
you realize that heaven, nothing bad happens in heaven. So like the goodness of heaven is actually like the quality of goodness is actually not as good.
Hey,
because there is
no,
no bad.
I'm gonna stop you right there because we can get into that, but that's a
But it's
whole
just
other
kind of a
discussion.
duality thing. going
Yeah,
on.
but I mean, heaven and the existence of like heaven and hell would be contrasting. Anyhow, don't worry about it.
Yeah, let's not worry about it. I kind of stepped in there.
Let's talk about what you're saying again. Now is that so? You are aware. Could you you can't change anything in these 6 months because that would change. That would change what I like. There's a 6 month period where I'm like I would change stuff, but if you can't change it, then I have to think about it
Yeah,
differently.
it is more interesting if you can change it.
Right.
See,
I
because
feel
like,
like-
oh, that's terrible. Because like, what like you choose to go back in time, where like you could have asked out that girl of your dreams or whatever.
Right. Exactly.
And, like
you know.
can go back in time and relive, like trying to like get it perfect so
But
that
then
it
you, like,
works. But then,
Constantly try to perfect it, and then it'll just become.
yeah,
so
but the
weird.
worst part is though, you finally perfect it,
It's
and then the
not that
6
good.
months recess.
I feel
Yeah.
like it would be more entertaining, like just reliving the same, because then you'd just start to slowly lose your mind. You become a sociopath and just say the obvious, like that new film that's coming out, like the Happy Death Day, where that woman keeps getting murdered over and over again on her birthday, and she keeps waking up. She's like, as she's walking down the streets, it's like the car should go off just about now, and she like points at it and it goes off.
Yeah.
Like that point where you start to predict everything, and
But
so
that's
you
not
just
giving
start
you the
making
choice.
fun of
That's
it.
mostly like, well,
Oh yeah, but like I
don't know.
know I was going off on like a tangent. I'd say like the choice thing is like maybe like there's an illusion of choice, like, but in the end it's like a Mass Effect thing.
Okay.
Like no matter what you do, it's like
I
gonna
know.
end up-
Listen, I know the period. If we can change things, I know the exact period that I'm wanting to do. My thing is like conceptually,
can't change anything.
right? If you can't, then that's different. I don't know.
Yeah. So for the question here, you can relive 6 months of your life for the rest of your life, or for eternity, and you cannot alter anything about it. You are forced to just sit there and watch things play out. You are conscious in the back of your head, and you know that you're repeating things, but you've got no control over what you say. You're just saying it, and your actions are just happening.
It's like watching a movie,
That's
Yeah,
very
exactly.
interesting.
You're
interesting
watching a
question,
movie.
Mark.
because that's how I imagine like what happens.
Which
after you die,
6
is, like,
months
you
would
just-
you choose?
It's literally like VR, but your life.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a video game.
I would choose like the last 6 months of my media course that I did, because
Why is that?
like I became so close with everybody there that it became
Aw.
like a second family. So I'd go in and like have a good time, then leave, then just wait for the next day to come around so I could go back and have like good laughs and fun. And I was also like speaking to you guys on a regular basis as well. So it was just kind of like
It was the
like,
best of both worlds.
Discord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, if I last year from the point leading from like maybe February or February, April leading up to at the end of August, essentially, like the first 2 weeks of school.
Yeah,
Because
so
that's a great
Break Fair would be,
period.
like, near the end.
Right, break fair be the end. Well, that period is because me and all my friends were moving. We had the entire summer. We hung out as much as possible because we knew we'd all be kind of breaking off at that point. So we had a lot of great times. We all like stayed over at each other's houses. We spent a lot of nights just hanging out with each other the entire summer. And then at the end of that summer, we had a great trip. We went to so like the theme park. We went camping a bunch. We went to the a bunch of lakes. We did camping a bunch of times. And then after that, I went off and I went to Brick Fair. And then I went to here and I met all my friends the first 2 weeks here. So that segue would probably be the most enjoyment I had for the long consistent period of time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
So
Var, would it be you guys?
my 6 months would be from. It would be from. It would be from August of 2014 to January of 2015,
Well, Barnacle
where
came
the
back.
Bionicle hype was in full swing.
Okay,
Also,
I can admit that was a pretty exciting time.
It's where our channel was like the strongest it's ever been. We were like rising fame, popularity.
We also went to New York Comic Con.
We're all there, and yes, Comic Con. And first time I ever like went to Comic Con, New York City. Got to enjoy the Bionicle panel and everything, and meet all the Lego people, and like just enjoy time with the Lego community. That was my first like foray into like the Bionicle fandom outside of the internet. Also, it was just a great period of time during like my social life, where I was just hanging out with all my friends. It's probably as close to my friends as I've ever been. It was just a great time. There was no drama. There was no arguing. Everybody was just having fun, hanging out every day. It was just a really good time. So that's those are the 6 months that I would relive, I think.
That's a good period of time. Honestly, like had my friends been closer, or had been closer to my friends at that point in time, I would have chosen that too. But like the one for me, the period I chose is where I hang out with the most amount of people in the most amount of time. So I go there and then I meet everyone at we have the Brick Fair weekend. It's great. We meet all of you guys. We meet all the fans, and then I go and I meet all the and then I have my old friends, and then I meet my new friends. So overall, I feel like that was a pretty great period of time. X.
Yeah.
So mine's pretty easy, because it's 1 year. I don't remember it specifically, but it was when Exo Force first came out, because it was the only year in my life, I think, in which Christmas and going to Legoland happened in the same span of 6 months. Yeah.
Okay.
There's so little I remember from that time, but I just remember the time around when Exoforce first came out, and I don't remember what Bionicle was at that point. If anyone knows that, then that'd be great. But I just remember like so much fun stuff. I don't know, but I was a little guy, but I just remember I was really, really happy, and there was a lot of fun stuff that happened around that time.
It's kind of like you don't remember like I don't remember particular moments from my choice, but I just remember being so like ecstatically happy, like time. Like usually like you're ecstatically happy about like one day, and then it's just like there was like a really funny joke or something. But like I remember like the next like best thing that was like Brick Fair, because that was like a whole week of just like hysterics.
I would
like,
also
just
Go
down. There was like one down point where I missed like my home a little bit, but then it like just immediately went back up again. Like it was like that for like months, like just being happy for months, and then like
yeah,
that was like,
I think I would be more happy if I relived it, because I knew how everything was going to turn out. A lot of the stress that goes on is because you don't know what happens later.
Oh, yeah,
like
that too,
I've only been ever fired from a job once, and it was by this new manager that had come into my job, and she was horrible. She was garbage at her job, and she wanted to fire everybody as soon as she came in. And I was going to leave I was going to leave at the end of August, because that's when I was moving to Virginia. And at July, she decided to fire me, and that was a stressful time because I wasn't sure if I had to pay something. But if I lived through that again, I would realize that my boss, who was over the manager, decided to let me not, I worked for my rent, but she decided to forego my rent for July anyways. And then that manager got fired like 3 months later because she was so inept at their job. They were just done with her. So they fired her and they put someone else better in her place. So if I knew that kind of at that point, I would not be as stressed out about like talking to people and saying that stuff. Yeah.
All the stress wouldn't be there. You just get to enjoy the fun parts.
Exactly. The fun parts would be there, and the stress wouldn't. Honestly, I like that a lot.
Yeah, I think that's like an interesting part of life is that like you don't know what's gonna happen, and I think like if you did know like what was
It'd
gonna
become
happen,
boring.
like it would become like really depressing and predictable. Like it would just
It
kind of
would.
you would lose
It would.
in things.
I think we can all agree
Like,
that
the
none
whole-
of us want to actually have to relive 6
Right.
months
No.
over and
That's a
over
bit
and over again.
narcissistic.
I maybe relive it once. I'd relive
Yeah,
it like
maybe
once.
once.
Yeah, maybe twice, but probably
Especially
not.
if I could go back and change things.
Okay, now here's the thing about changing things. I want to talk about this real quick because I thought about this concept a lot as a kid, and I came up with this solution. Every year, I come up with a new code phrase. This is a very random code phrase that has about maybe 10, well, anywhere from like 7 to 10 words in it. This code phrase, I memorize myself and I don't tell anybody. For the rest of that year, if anyone comes up to me and tells me and like proceeds with that code phrase, I do whatever they tell me to next. I made that thing of myself. No matter how insane it is, no matter how crazy it is, I do exactly what they say next.
Dude, you're insane.
That code phrase.
So it's
But,
just
like,
what
I
if they
feel
don't
like-
tell you to do anything? What if they're just like having a conversation with you and they mention the word?
no. It's not a word. It's a phrase of words. That's about 10. So it's a very specific phrase of words, right? And then
Sentence.
so the only
You're
way
gonna have a lot
someone
of
would.
times where you're gonna be there and nothing will happen.
Well, no, I guess what I'm saying is that like for me, I've been doing this every year since I was about maybe 15, where I come up with a new code phrase. So if I go back in time, up until the time I'm 15, when I didn't think about this, I actually can influence myself and like get straight to the chase with something. Right? Or someone from the future was going to come and needed to tell me to do something. They don't need to do the whole thing if they convince me they're from the future and like all this stuff.
I have no clue what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Okay. All right. I will give you an example. Right now, this year, for example, my phrase is bird, monkey, eagle. Okay? Obviously, it's way more complex and random than that, but bird, monkey, eagle. So right now, someone comes to me. All right, someone knocks on the door, and I say, hello, who is it? And he says, bird, monkey, eagle, run your car into this person. I have to do it.
Why would he do that?
In the far
I
future,
mean,
the
I
year
feel like
2025, I send this guy back in time, and I say, hey, you're going to encounter me in the past. Say bird,
Okay,
monkey, eagle to me,
but
and I'll do whatever comes next.
The prompt is that you're going back in time and you can change things.
Right,
That's
right.
Other people.
What I'm saying is that essentially, if everyone had it at the end of this 6 months, I could be like, "Hey, what's your code phrase?"
Not
And then
everybody
like,
has it. It's just you though.
I know that's what I'm talking about this concept, not to how it solve this thing, but like if you're safeguard against time
It's a
travel.
completely different thing. Okay.
Yeah, I was just branching off that.
From
TTV
what
Talks.
I
Talking-
gathered,
branching
is
off that.
like how I feel like that would be how I would tell like future travel, like time travel existed.
Right,
like,
exactly.
It was just kind of like, well, I'm gonna. Come
That
up
made
with
my
something
head hurt so
that
much.
Same.
that I would only know. But for me, I kind of like what I do now is that I write diary entries and journal entries and things like.
Well, I mean, okay, what I'm saying is that like it's not for me, but for you, Var. You're going back. You know I have this concept. At the end of 6 months, you ask me for that code. You go back in time, and then you can tell me what to do if you can change stuff.
Yeah, but
I
if
feel
I
like-
can go back in time, why wouldn't I just do it myself and then go back in time and not have to worry about the
Well, there's
consequences?
certain things that you have to do that require someone else. Or, I mean, like, now, obviously, for me, it's not the exact same thing. But if I just say I told, like, my girlfriend in the future about this concept, and so she does the same thing. Well, if I ever go back in time and start doing it from that point on, we no longer have to do that thing where, you have to convince someone. I feel like that's the biggest part of time travel movies is, like, convincing someone you're from the future.
I feel
This is the
like
easy way to do that.
I hate this.
feel-
I don't want to think about this anymore.
I feel like
I can't grasp what the heck you're talking about.
It's future-proofing, just for me.
none of what you have said has made any sense to me.
somewhat understand what you're coming from, but like the thing is that like how do you know that someone has your best interest at heart?
That's
when
true.
You send them back.
That's true. That's a risk I take.
Like, what if they decide
That's
to
a risk
kill
I
you
take.
or something? It's like a Shrek Forever After, where they're just like they
Well, they
snuff
don't, right?
you from
Because
existence.
that's what he's like. You could go back in time and tell Kanye to jump off of the bridge. He would do it. and he'd be gone.
Oh yeah.
Right,
Then,
exactly.
so
Good.
you go back in time every 6 months. It doesn't matter.
Wow.
There's no actual consequence. It's just like playing a video game.
Right.
So it doesn't matter. It
Yeah,
doesn't matter
I
if
guess so,
if you have his best interest in heart, because it doesn't like it's not
I'm
real.
gonna. Yeah, I don't exist to you. This is your perception of time. You're going
Yeah.
and you're living all these realities. It doesn't affect me, or I don't
The
think
thing
it
is,
affects
though,
me.
Oh, I see.
Have you actually been setting up some codes this whole time?
Yeah, like since I was 15, I thought about
You've
this.
actually been doing this.
Yes, every
Like
year.
Right now, no joke. You've been doing this.
Right now, I have a
I
phrase.
Completely
believe you.
disregarding this conversation. You have
Completely
had-
disregarding this conversation. I've been thinking about this a lot.
So you actually have you've got like a list of codes right now.
I have a list of codes dating back to
How the
when I was
heck do you
15.
remember these things?
What?
Like,
Well,
Heck.
I only remember this year's one.
well, I
What
ate
on earth?
yesterday.
That's all I need to remember.
What the heck? Okay.
Yeah, I'm on
Like,
bar
I
on
keep
this one.
everything in my
There's
brain.
no-
At the end of the year, now at the end of the
I
year,
think you're a
I write it
crazy
down.
person.
I'm really glad that
It's
you
a thing I do on my off time.
You're a crazy person.
never
Listen,
have the
I'm not gonna say that this is a sane thing to do. You're right. I'm crazy. I just did it in my spare time.
I'm really happy that I will
It's
never
not
have
like
the crazy-
I spent like 40 hours a week on this.
I know.
It was just like I thought about it and I was like, huh, I'll do it. And out of habit, I just do it every year. At the end of every year, I'll go and I'll write it down because it doesn't matter because I have a new code. So if someone goes and tells me it doesn't matter, it only matters if they can go back in time and use it. But if they do, then yeah. And I've also resigned myself to if they ever use this code word, I will do exactly whatever it is. I trust my future self, essentially.
That's like Bucky from Civil War. You have a book of
Right,
just,
I like exactly the book of
code
code
words.
phrases. If time travel's ever invented,
This doesn't
then
work though. This doesn't work. Like,
okay,
here's the scenarios. I'm going to go back and relive 6 months.
right.
You need to tell me what your code is so that I can tell you in the past what to do. But you just said you don't remember what your code is for the past.
No, I write it down at the end of every year. I don't remember off the top of my head.
You have a
have all this-
notebook with all of your past codes.
Yeah, well, it's not a notebook.
You're
it's just a piece of paper.
insane! You're
It's
a
a piece of
crazy
paper.
person.
How would you not
Why
lose
would you
it?
do
Like, I
this?
lose everything. I've like written some really personal stuff down and I've lost it and I'm just like, well, let's just hope that no one ever finds
I
it.
have a safe box, and I put it in the safe box.
You're
It's so
actually
cool.
insane. This
Wait,
is like,
here's the thing.
That is-
Here's the thing.
That
You
is
have a mental
incredible.
Listen. This is I'm not saying it's
That's
sane.
incredible.
It's just a thought experiment I did, and I decided to act on it just in case.
No,
I don't think it's ever
guys,
gonna be
when did-
used ever.
guys,
You started this when you were 15. You said.
Yeah. I watched some time travel movie.
21.
guys.
Yeah. So
This
I have.
isn't insanity. This isn't insanity. This is high functioning insanity.
You have 7
Advanced
years worth
insanity.
of codes that you have been keeping locked away in a secret notebook just in case someone from the future comes to ask you or tell you this code so that you would do whatever that person tells you because the person in the future told them your code for that year.
Yes.
And you are being serious. This notebook exists.
It is not a notebook. It's just a piece of paper. But yes, the piece of paper exists.
I have no words
Listen,
for the level of
listen,
craziness.
It was. I'm not saying it's sane. I'm not defending it as anything. I'm just saying it's something I did. It was a thought experiment. I watched some time travel movie when I was 15, and it was just a thought experiment I had. And so, like, I came up with a solution. And when I was 16, I'm like, well, sure, okay, we'll try it. I just do it. Like, it takes me it's literally about like 5 seconds every year where I'm like, what's my new code phrase? And at
Okay,
the end
so
of the
if I
year,
were to ask you what your code phrase for last year was, and you told me.
I have to look in the box for it. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but let's say that you had your box right now and you open.
You
it
say-
up and
right.
you told me the code.
Yeah.
If I were somehow to manage to go back in time, let's say to Brick Fair,
Mhm.
and tell you the code, I could make you do whatever.
Yes.
oh man.
You are
I
a freak.
I am depending on myself to not
You're
give
a
anybody these
freak!
codes. But
You can
yes.
make Kahi your
What will
slave.
let you have it if you're not going to give anyone the
Go
code?
find out
What?
the voice.
Well, no, I'm not gonna listen. I'm only gonna give it to people. Like, if I give it to you, I'm sanctioning you going back in time. So you're probably going for some purpose.
Wait. Here's so like, but what if I go back in time? Well, I guess you would remember that. Yeah, you remember the code of that year. Okay.
Yeah. That's why I only keep the one for this year in my mind. And I write it down at the end of the year when it's no longer valid.
What the heck? I can't believe this is a real thing, dude. You're.
Scorpion Strike says he's gonna go and break into my house to get all the codes. You can totally do that. They're worthless.
Where did you get this idea from?
I watched some time travel movie when I was 15, man. That's why I was just thinking, like, if I went back in time, how would I convince myself back in time? Right, let's say, like, I'm a 40-year-old man, right, and I go back in time, and I'm like, how do I get my young self to, like, play along? And I'm like, okay, well, this is the easy way to do it.
Oh, okay, I see. So it's like, okay, like, in the future, there's like this dystopian society where aliens come and destroy everybody.
Right, exactly.
Thing that we can do to stop them, but you need to travel back in time and convince yourself.
It was like, I think I was watching like Sarah Connor Chronicles or something, where she goes, right, and so I go back. So obviously, it's not for any random person to do. It's like, hey, you know,
I literally thought that you had devised this plan as a reason for someone to go back into the future to tell you to go GTA on someone or something.
No. This is a thing, like, in case something happens, I don't, like, you know, you go back in time. I'm pretty sure it was Sarah Connor or something like that. You go back in time. I'm 40 years old, and I'm like, hey, this is what we're doing. This is the code. We're gonna go do this, and I'm like, awesome.
Theoretically, if I were to somehow find a way to steal your box,
right,
break in and get the code for this year,
yes,
and I told you that code, would you do anything?
I would do exactly what you told me to do next, though. Yeah. There is a reason. There's like there is a within reason thing where it's like, obviously I won't do something that's completely crazy, but I also accept that some things that I might consider to be crazy now won't be crazy in the future.
Man.
So are you actually saying, though, that if someone came up to you and said that word and told you to pre-order,
it's a phrase. It's a phrase of words.
That bad word.
Yeah, I would do that in a heartbeat.
You would actually. Oh my god.
I would pre-order Call of Duty. Sure, Call of Duty's nothing. If they came back and said, "Hey, murder your best friend," I'd be like, I don't know. There'd have to be some explanation behind that.
You have to murder your best friend because your best friend's gonna become like the next Hitler.
And in that case, I would.
You're a really bad friend.
Because I mean, like, no, it's just because at this point in time,
something.
At this point in time, I don't know about the future. I'm trusting my future
A
self.
lot of power over you. We gotta find that box.
Listen, you can find the box all you want. You're not gonna go back in time. If you go back in time, then sure. But
that's the thing, right? How would you know? What if
time machine?
What if we unlocked time travel at the beginning of, or at the end of this year?
Okay.
And I traveled back in time and told you your code for this year and told you gotta kill your friend. Otherwise, the end of this year, the world is doomed. How would you know the difference between me going back in time and me just breaking into your box and telling you what to do?
I don't. That's why I'm depending on my future self.
Yeah,
probably would. Well, I mean, like, again, I'm counting on my future self to be like. Now, if we find time travel. All right, if we find time travel, essentially, I am burning that list that's in my box. I'm going to a safe vault. I'm like, if we ever get that news that we've discovered time travel, I'm obviously going to take measures to make sure this list is saved. Essentially.
Well, but that doesn't affect you in the past, though.
No, it doesn't. But okay.
The point I'm getting at is that time travel isn't actually real. I just stole your list, and I'm telling you that we discovered time travel in the future. But I'm telling you that you in the future told me.
Yeah, okay. Oh, wait. So you're saying time... Okay, here's something you might have forgotten I said before. 2015, January 1st, 2015, I say this is the code for this year. December 31st, when it's like 11:59, I say, okay, this is the code for the new year. I'm now writing this code down. If anyone tells me this code that is written down, it's for the year 2015. It doesn't matter. If time travel doesn't exist, they can't tell me to do anything. I keep it memorized for this year's code. I keep memorized the entire year. It's only in my head.
That's what I'm telling you. That's what I'm telling you.
Okay.
I walk up to you right now.
Yes. Right. Time travel does not exist in this universe.
Yeah, time travel doesn't actually exist. What happened was I stole your box.
Right.
And I got a list of codes.
Right.
Oh, but that's okay. You're right.
See,
you're right.
Right. See, now you get it. I didn't write it down until the end of the year.
I didn't write it down. I can't do
that.
Yeah,
exactly.
So time travel has to exist.
It has to exist for you to tell me it.
It's foolproof.
Exactly.
You just got filthy pranked.
This is genius. It's also insanity.
It's insane genius. You're right.
On this episode, John has redeemed himself from what? what some thought
Oh
would be
my
the
lord.
unspeakable levels of insanity. But here we
Yeah,
are
see,
today.
that was my foolproof system
Yeah,
that I came up
that
with.
brings. Someone just said, "Guys, read his mind." It actually brings up a question: what if we discover telepathy before time travel?
Oh, then I'm screwed. But I mean, like, if you can read my mind, you can do way worse things to me than just tell me what to do. You know,
Yeah.
like
I feel
you
like
can.
You probably wouldn't
I'm
even need
so
the code.
excited.
You
You'd
wouldn't
have
need the
someone
code. Yeah, exactly. Just, I mean, honestly, it's just
I'm
a thing
so
of like.
excited. I like the thing. I could see that happening more likely than time travel, like being able to read into someone's mind. Like it would be unethical as heck.
I think
like,
it is possible
see
because
it
there's
happening.
information there.
Like it's like a form of torture. Or
Wow,
something.
we're going on a different topic already. There's information.
Like, it is though, like reading someone's
Yeah.
like going. To someone's
It's
mind, like, that
theoretically
is, like-
possible. At a very theoretical level. Time travel really isn't to an insane degree, and that's why I don't think it's going to happen. But in case it does, I have a plan.
Way too big. It
Wow.
affects like everything. Like
X, your question led to this.
Yeah, I'm.
You just
glad-
uncovered how crazy I am in terms of like
yeah, Kai's a freaking.
I'm a little insane.
That's-
I'm not
That's
gonna
what
I'm not gonna
I
lie.
aimed to do with my question to
I feel
provoke
like a-
discussion. You know.
I feel like a plebeian
Man.
in comparison to Kai.
What the heck?
Oh.
All right, we've talked about this one enough. There's one more. X.
Okay. Well, there's two more. We're gonna do a call-in too. So
Oh,
Oh,
jeez. Okay.
should we
Yeah.
do? Okay, we'll just do mine.
no.
first.
Let's do your
Yeah,
first. Whatever.
yeah,
It's
let's
okay.
All right, let's bring it up there. Let's go.
Great accent, by the way.
Thanks, man. All right. If your life up to this point was a movie, which genre would it be, and how would critics react to said movie?
Well, I already know people would find it incredibly boring.
Anti-art.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's made into a movie.
It's
you know?
adapted, so they
Yeah.
make it something interesting.
Or
It's
it's,
a dark comedy.
it's adapted, but like it's yourself and everything. And all
I've
that, like,
actually
it's-
okay. I thought about how I'd film like an adaptation of my life before.
What?
What?
You're
Like-
a freaking psychopath.
No, but this is after. It always happens whenever I watch a movie. I just start thinking about the movie, and I watched
Oh,
The
I
Social
can
Network.
say- I like think
Yeah,
of
yeah.
like my. If I think of moments in like a movie format, like I was like, you know, the rain comes down, I'm walking down the street. So
Well-
I try and make it like a little less cliche.
Well,
I think my
okay,
life would be,
I'm
like,
a
a
little-
dark comedy.
I am a little more insane than that. I have thought about not just like what my life would look like if someone is adapting in
Too
the future.
boring.
Like, you know, like
Oh,
Mark
not-
Zuckerberg, well, he's in Harvard. He doesn't know if someone's gonna make a movie about him called The Social Network in the future. He hasn't made Facebook yet. But but like, you know, they show parts of it, you know, before. I've always thought like, what if people make a movie right now? And I've also thought about like, what would they adapt wrong? Like, which one of my friends would they adapt wrong, or would they combine two of my friends that said something into one thing because it's better for the plot?
You're
You know-
so weird, dude.
I am.
But it's great.
But like you in The Social Network, or like Steve Jobs is a better example because I read the biography of Steve Jobs, and the movie they take some creative liberties with who said what and where is it, and I'm always like, so if they did a movie about me, what would they change about this? Like, would they consolidate? Like, I have several best friends. They'd probably consolidate them all into one best friend, right? There's been
Yeah.
like several girls in my life. They probably just consolidate them on just one girl, you know, and they take elements from stuff and just to make the plot faster and do that kind of thing. And I think about certain shots they have, like, you know, I'm walking through a university and I'm like, how would this look like in a movie?
What about a TV show? I feel like a TV show would fit better.
Maybe. I think a drama like The Social Network is exactly what I think of, or like Steve Jobs. That's what I think of when I think of how they'd film my life. But they might do an Edgar Wright kind of super stylized
I
movie.
can't think of anything that would like. My life is just kind of boring. I don't.
You
think
made
I
a
could
company
do
when
it.
you made a company when you were like 17, man.
Yeah, but our company is like sitting here on like without any ad revenue because of the adpocalypse. It's
You're right.
It's a big success.
But like, okay, let me give it to you this way, right? They did Rooster Teeth right now. Look at them right now. For 7 years, all they did was just red versus blue. They didn't do anything else. So we could be in that period. Like now, it would make sense to make a documentary of Bernie Burns' life. But he worked for 10 years in telecom. There's points where he's just sitting around doing a 9-to-5 job and he doesn't know anything, you know? And that could be that point. We could be at that point in his career.
You're right.
I know what. I got everything on my mind.
Go for it.
It would be like, because it would be a comedy, because there's a lot of just funny stuff I've gotten into in my life up to this point. It would be a comedy, but because of like how things seem to, like, literally from day I was born and then up to like the past like 5 years or so or something like that, and then people would say like, hey, it's a nice comedy, but like the last part of the movie is really depressing, man. And it would just not fit.
It's like Click.
I just realized what my movie would be. It'd be like it would be my life as a high school student, sneaking out of the house and hanging out with friends, and it would be like it would essentially be super bad.
Nice.
That would be my movie.
It would super bad actually. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I feel like my life
Maybe
would be like Scott Pilgrim, like you know, like
oh
what he's going
yeah,
through isn't really a big deal, but it is to him. Like it's just like it's this personal perspective of things.
I do like the idea of like a
it's like,
stylized
I
thing.
don't know,
Yeah.
like, yeah. Also, I could see my thing being styled. I could see mine like. Do you remember that one show? It was like Lizzie McGuire.
Yeah.
You know,
I
when like the
remember that.
cartoon would like
Mhm,
pop on
mhm.
and like start talking.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be my
Oh, that one.
movie.
Yeah, hey, that
Just
was
like
really
my
stupid
cartoon
what you
me
just said.
just like popping as like, by the way, what you just said was really dumb. And or like Emperor's New Groove where he pauses it and he like walks onto the screen and he's like, this is me being really stupid. This happens 90% of the movie. So enjoy.
Nice.
All
This
right.
is kind of like
well,
a
I definitely thought of my
commentary.
movie.
You guys ever see Boyhood?
Nope.
No.
Boyhood's actually
I've
it's
heard
a.
of it.
Do you know the premise behind it for the
Yeah,
audience?
it's like every. Yeah, okay, I'll shut up.
That's right. So this filmmaker had this like essentially did a 12-year-long project where he had this kid.
Oh,
The kid
I
was
have
like
heard of
6.
this.
Yeah, kid was 6, and he filmed like a half hour of footage. Or maybe like 15 minutes or something when he was 6. Then when he was 7, he filmed more. And he had used the same actors for 12 years. And so you kind of see this entire kid's life over 12 years. And it was really good.
Amazing.
It was really, really good. And I loved it when I saw it. You know, it's a story that would be okay if it was told, you know, like in a movie. But like just the fact that you saw these kids grow, and
It's more
the
like a
actors.
documentary
It was kind of, it was all acted. It's not a documentary, but yeah, you're right. It was way more like a documentary. And there's a lot of stuff you don't notice. Like for one thing that I saw in that movie that I didn't realize until I looked back at it, you don't think about like how old your mom gets. That makes sense. When you watch the beginning, of the movie, the mom's she's a young single mother and she's dating other people and everything. And then like when she's 18 and he's going to college and she just kind of like she doesn't have like a breakdown, but she starts crying and everything because he's just like, well, I'm going to college, mom, and she was like, oh, this is it. Both my kids are going to college now. This is the rest of my life. But she looks older. She looks a bit more like my mom does now, and I'm like, I forgot how young my parents used to be.
When I was looking at like photos of like me and my parents, like it just really hit me how like old they are now, especially my dad, because my dad, like everybody's like, man, your dad like hasn't aged a bit, and I'm like, yes, he has. He's like balding now and like stuff like that. It's just like it's so weird. Like, and even like my mum's like face, but even now, like looking at like older pictures, I can see like I haven't noticed it because of how slow aging is, but like it's quite sad, but also it's kind of like, you know, it's just the way it is, and it's just very nice.
Aging is freaking
like,
terrifying.
It's terrifying. My dad.
know, like,
people say I look
looked
like my
at a
dad
photo.
a lot. Like right now, I'm in college, and people that went to college with my dad are like, "You look exactly like him," which is scary to me because I'm like, man, I'm gonna age at some point. I'm gonna look like my dad does now. And I mean, he looks.
Yeah, I know that. I've gone through this.
He doesn't look super old or anything. He's not like, you know, he's like, you know, super decrepit or anything. He looks like a normal 50-year-old dude. But it's just like the idea for me that like I'm going to go old and my kids are not going to notice that. You know, it's just that concept just kind of.
And my kids. My kids are only gonna know me as the old, like quite old, like much older than them. But I was them at one point. It's just kind of like it's quite I don't know. It's weird, but yeah, like when I was looking at photos of like I was kind of like having a little like nose through my Facebook, and like the first ever photo I posted was like when I was 11 years old, and like I did like one of those transitioning things where you can transition like your your like oldest Facebook picture
Oh
to
yeah,
your
I saw that.
newest,
Hmm.
and I was like, oh my gosh, my face used to be a complete circle, and now it's like an oblong ellipse shape.
My
But it's
hair
just
was
so
garbage as a kid. Oh my
yeah,
gosh, my hair
same.
was the worst.
It's interesting. I'm
My
looking at
hair is the
pictures of this.
best it's ever been, but
I'm looking at pictures of the kid from Boyhood, and it's interesting because it's like it's kind of like there's two different people. It's like right at age 6, that's where the change happens. But like years 1 through 5, it looks like the same kid. But then you
Right.
look at like years 7 through 12, looks like the same dude. But like that in between from 5 and 7, that's where like
oh
the
yeah.
majority of the change happens. It's just like
Right.
it goes from this kid to this dude.
That's what puberty does, man. There's a guy who
Weird.
on Reddit. There's this video about this guy who literally he filmed his daughter at the first day of school, every day, and so he did it from when she started school, her first grade. She's like 6 years old until she graduates high school, and in between where she's in middle school when she's 13 and when she's 14 and going to high school, there's a big difference. There's just like a giant difference that happens.
It's really odd how people change. Like you know it's them, but when you think about it,
And
like,
it's like
you saw them like in outside because you see all the pictures of like people like of previous versions of themselves, but if you were to like see it in like an actual like real life thing where you don't have a reference, would you actually notice that these people were the same people? I don't
I
recognize
don't
people
think
when they have
so.
a different haircut, let alone like when I haven't seen them in years. But sometimes, like the other day, like I recognized someone. I was working and like someone who used to go to school with me. Like I recognized them, and you wonder, did they recognize me?
You know
I
what?
really
Legitimately,
don't want to bring it up though because like I wasn't really I don't really look
Yeah.
at my secondary school days very fondly. But like it's just kind of like I wonder if she recognized me like as I recognized her, even though how much I've changed.
there was a kid I
Like
knew way back when I was like 6, and he went to my church. We did some stuff together, and then he moved away, and I was serving pizzas one day, and I was like, and I was ringing this guy up, and I was like, and it was this dude and his mom, and I haven't thought about this guy in about. At that point, it was 20, no, not 20 years. It was about 19 years, 18 to 19 years. And I just stopped and was like, hey, are you Austin? Did you go? And he was like, dude, how do you, he's like, and he like, once he heard my name, he was like, oh, I remember you now. He's like, I didn't recognize you at all. And I'm like, I literally have no idea how I recognize you, man. I just, for whatever reason, I was like, that's totally this dude I knew when I was 6. No
it
idea.
makes me emotional, man.
Never happens to me, but, and I
Like,
remembered his
but-
name too. That's crazy.
Like just seeing people after like not seeing them for like a couple months or so, like it's just like especially if I knew them really well, like it just kind of like real hard. Like it never used to bother me, but nowadays it just I'm a softy.
Well, one last thing that I want to note on is that the mom in Boyhood at the beginning of the movie is about the age. She's just a little older than the age that I'm gonna be pretty soon. And
Yeah.
that is like when you're a kid, you don't think when your parents are like, "Oh, I used to be a kid too. I used to be a
Yeah,
kid too."
my mom-
You don't actually recognize that. That doesn't register in your mind, right? It never like I understood that at some point my parents had to be kids because that's the nature of everything else, but it wasn't in my head. Now I'm getting to the point where I'm like I'm about maybe 5 years away from how old my dad was when he had me. And I'm like, I'm going to have that same
See,
thing
like,
too, where I'm
I'm-
like, I was a kid. I was a teenager. I did the stupid stuff. I went, I snuck out of the house to go to parties. I did I did all the stupid stuff to impress a girl. Like, I know what you're doing. I know what you're going through. And the kid's going to be like, yeah, whatever, dad. And I'm like, okay, I get it now.
At this point, my mum was living like in her own house, like, and she had like a serious relationship, and she would have a kid, her first kid in like 2 to 3 years, like the age of me, like after 19.
I don't want
Like
to talk
that's
about this
crazy
anymore.
to
It
me.
Yeah, I'm
Feel
feeling
depressed.
depressed. Yeah.
I know. I mean, it's depressing,
Hate
but like,
aging.
I kind of accept it. It's like the way it is. Like never makes me stop loving people even like more than I do.
Mm-hmm.
It's about depression.
Well,
Yeah.
All right, we got one last thing we got to talk here because we got to fulfill our quota for the
It's
call-in.
not over.
oh god, I'm so exhausted.
We're
me
gonna
too.
we're
I'm
gonna.
like,
I know.
I'm
We've been. This was an extra long one because we did an extra topic. But you know
My
what?
drink's all gone.
We're gonna do it. I'm contacting here people in the chat right now.
Alrighty.
We're gonna do this.
So if anyone wasn't around for G3, we had some crazy revelations outside of the podcast. It is incredible.
Oh, I've been completely out the loop. I've been more out the loop than the audience has. So.
Did you guys look in the YouTube chat?
Yeah, people are saying that it cut out, but like I've refreshed the live stream and it's still working for me, so I think it's just a thing for them.
Oh.
Hi, kitty.
I love how like X has like a cat on his.
X man, you bring some good questions.
Thanks, man. I like to sit down and chat. You know.
He just
I like
he's in
those
a
kinds of
constant
chats though.
existential crisis.
Wow.
Yeah, dude. Every time.
All right, we are going to
love
have
the
member
conversation.
Scorpion Strike join us for a little bit. If you want to leave and rejoin.
Hey,
Hello?
I think I can talk.
Hey,
Hello.
there you are.
Hey, man.
Sweet.
How you doing, man?
Yes. Pretty well. It's been a very TTV filled day so far.
Oh, it's been a good day for
Indeed.
content. Yeah.
I know I've been really enjoying it as well. I love the whole like
Quality
world
content.
development things. Like I really get into that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
same.
those who didn't know, we recorded TTV podcast today, even though it comes out
Oh,
Monday.
I didn't know that.
Oh, well, now you know.
Well, now you do.
Well, it makes sense. That's why you haven't been on. You just didn't know we recorded today. Oh, who knew? But yeah, okay, that's what Scorpion Strike's talking about. If you're a Patreon, you can listen in on patreon.com/the TTV channel.
And join in.
And
which
join
I
in.
would say is definitely worth it.
Hey.
Yes.
Thank you.
The question / topic I put up earlier as an idea is to kind of tie together the whole like talking about experiences growing up as well as earlier with deals on various Lego and Bionicle sets and stuff like that. Besides building and displaying them, are there any cool projects or other things you guys used to do with your Lego or your Bionicle sets?
So we did this thing. I forget what it was called. It was called like Brick something. It was like Brick Legends or Brick Builders or something. But essentially, we played this role-playing game with Lego figures, and we would build. And there's this whole thing to it. There's this giant book, and it had all these rules. And my friend organized it all together. But you would build all this stuff, and you could. Essentially, you measured a ruler, and if your little minifigure would have like a gun or like a bow and arrow or something, and it would do different damage, and you'd roll dice and you do everything, and you could be like essentially you roll the dice.
D&D, dude.
Yeah, basically D&D. You would move it like a certain length, so you could move it like 6 inches, and then you could be like, I'm gonna aim. This is 10 inches away, and my gun can aim 10 inches, so I'm gonna aim and try to fire your mech, and you roll the dice and you do that. So that was really cool.
Oh yeah.
We used to like at every single person's house. We used to like everyone like just grab and build everything you can, and then just make a big wall basically with all your vehicles around it. And then everyone around the Lego would always try really hard to get all the shooters from like Bionicle, everything that could shoot something, and then we would just shoot at each other, and just we'd have like lives and stuff, and then we'd try to shoot from our bases on each other.
See, that's interesting because I remember when the Glotorian came out, and in the back of the booklets you'd have this
Oh, yeah, they
Bionicle
had, like, a
arena
game.
battle game where you just sit there shooting Thornax at each other, which I
Dude,
thought
the
was really
Tuamari
weird.
would be so overpowered because they would just chain gun at
I
people.
thought it was really weird because that's something I'd been doing myself for ages, and it's like, since when do people need instructions to tell them how to do this?
Well,
Um,
John
And
likes
also,
to
like,
do
to not,
everything
like,
by the book.
stab people's heads and stuff. So I thought that was just common courtesy, not to shoot someone in the eye with something like.
Yeah, I think for me, there's two things that, or at least that I remember, that I used to do that kind of inspired this particular topic. The first was like before I got into Bionicle, I used to have a whole bunch of like Lego race cars, like the Lego Racers line that was
Okay, so
Ooh,
still
I
on?
love that line, dude.
stuff like that. But I built a whole bunch of like Lego race cars and themed them by color and teams and stuff, and do like a turn-based like push race around the house, so, like label out tracks and stuff. At one point, I tried to make a whole set of like an entire Formula One season grid lineup to do that. But actually, on the at one point as well, like on the kind of the Gatorian Battle Arena style game, I did actually make like a turn-based, like I guess floor top, if you will, combat game with the Bionicle figures. So yeah, the Mari were pretty overpowered because of their rapid shooters.
Yeah, they would just decimate everyone, dude. I just choose those, especially Congo, especially Congo.
Well, the thing was, the fun part of it was, like, I was playing Pokemon a lot of the time as well, and what I ended up doing is I ended up making all, like, level sheets and power sets that they would get progressively more powerful as they leveled up and won battles, and actually a couple of friends played through a couple of rounds of it once. Remember, in particular, there was a, you know, the Gatorian Malum? You know, big, like, burly guy, fire claws and stuff.
Yeah.
You came up with a move for him where it'd be like, okay, so you set both of his claws on fire, not literally, obviously, but you know, theater of the mind, imagination kind of stuff. And the goal was like he was pretty slow, but he would have to run up to someone and then smash both claws into them at like an X scissor, you know, the Pokemon move type motion.
Yeah,
And we
I
called
know.
Crossfire. And that's a bunch of 14 or 15-year-olds who were like, that is the coolest move ever.
Yeah.
And looking back on it now, you know, I'm just as much of a geek now as I was back then, but we had a lot of fun with those.
I always used to play like Imagine games, like, you know, it's just kind of like, it's like D&D, but like you're not sat at a table, you're like in a park somewhere, and you're like, you just grab whatever you can find. And I don't know, like, for example, I took off my jumper and like tied it around my neck to make it like a like of some sort, like, and then we just used to climb on the things, and it's like, so this climbing apparatus is not actually a climbing apparatus, it's actually a massive mountain, and if you fall off you'll most certainly die, so don't fall off. And I'm like, okay, don't fall off. So I play it with my friends and everything. It's like, oh no, there's a guard at the top of the thing, we need to throw him off. So it's just kind of like, that's what I used to play with, because I didn't really have that much toys, and when I did, like, I didn't like taking them outside, because usually I'd lose them or something, losing them, or like my friends kept having them and not giving them back, like, and it's just kind of like, I don't know, I just didn't have many toys. And they were like small toys, so you'd lose them quite easily, so I just used to.
Yeah, that's always the fear of going outside with anything Lego based is, what are you gonna
Well, I'm
lose?
already in fear of going outside already, but
I don't think I don't know if I've ever done anything with my Lego sets aside from just
Bottoms,
play
put them up, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, like, I played with them when I was a
I
little,
like played with them
younger.
in my house. Like, I always used to like take. I know for the Bionicles, I always used to like put the mask like in the living room, and then the whole like thing would be like, we need to make it from the bedroom down the perilous stairs through the living room with the giant beasts that were the dogs, and we need to get the mask, and then who
Yeah,
would be
like, I
the
did
one
stuff like
to
that.
wear the mask? Like, totally.
And like I had like the characters, like, you know, like mock battle and stuff, and like I had my own storylines and everything. I role played with them, but I don't know if I ever like used them for like a game or like anything.
A serious epic quest.
Yeah.
It's terrible because I always used to have a Vakama character who'd turn evil.
I wow. I always used to reenact when I had like the G1 Toa, I would reenact the story on the canisters. That's the only story I knew at that point in time. So they would like they'd spill out, and then I'd assemble them together, and they like piece themselves together, and then they'd like fight each other. I remember doing that. But nowadays, honestly, all my Lego stuff is just conversation pieces. I know that was a kind of a joke for a while, but honestly, I got the Airjitsu Temple, and I put it like in the center of my apartment when I was here in college. And no joke, everyone that would come in that would be a conversation piece. And I even got like called into housing because I was working in the back in the little in the closet for a sound closet while I was doing TTV stuff. And so they had to talk to me and said, hey, so we do have this clause about running your own business from on-campus grounds, but it's okay. We shouldn't, I don't think it's going to be an issue. But then the guy who was like, oh, also we went to your room. We saw your Lego thing. We thought it was, they were like, they're talking about how cool it was because they're all building, their architecture and stuff. And I was like, huh, that's really cool. But it honestly does work. Really, a lot of people really like, when they see something that complex built out of Lego, they really like that. So
that tends to work for a lot of Bionicle stuff as well, though. Because I think my second year in college, I did bring a bunch of sets in because at this point I had enough experience living in a dorm room that I felt like I could actually bring some more stuff in other than the bare essentials. And I set up a bunch of stuff in the windowsill and like decorated a wall with a bunch of little like plant or cardboard like stands that I put sets on.
right.
And people were in and out of my room all semester, just like looking at and reminiscing about, oh yeah, I used to have those.
Oh, dude, when I moved in, my coworker helped me move in for my new job, and he was like, dude, he's like, these Bionicles, I remember these. He's like, I used to have this one. I used to like, it's a huge nostalgic point for people. So yeah, totally.
Yeah, I have a lot of people like have the same conversation.
It's amazing how many people remember Bionicle fondly, but had no clue that G2 was even a thing.
I know, right?
But they memed about it constantly.
Yeah.
Though by that point it was already
did anyone else,
on its way out.
Sorry, like, I was just gonna say, like, did anyone else do this? I still do this to this day. When you think of a story, like I don't know, like a Bionicle story or like just a Bionicle story that already exists, you like make a playlist for it, like music.
No. I actually don't do that.
You know what I mean? Like, right?
I know the concept,
like,
but
you're thinking of like a certain scene, so you'd play it, or like a character or something. You'd have, those like bunch of YouTube videos where it's just like Harry Potter, like song, like character song.
yeah, right.
And you
I
like, Draco
I understand what you're talking about. I
edgy.
just don't do it.
Okay, I do
imagine,
that
like,
still.
Movie-esque soundtracks or something like, or try to imagine like a soundtrack
like-
for role-playing, but not so much like songs with lyrics.
Yeah, I feel like I don't really go for like popular songs. It's kind of like more mellow,
Melodramatic songs.
depressing songs. Yeah, like a lot of the songs I do like are like have the bare minimum of lyrics, but like it's kind of hard like burying it down to one song though.
Right.
So I have about like 20 songs for one character.
I think it's about time that we wrap this all up. So, thanks again for joining us, Scorpion
That was
Strike.
a cool
Thanks.
question.
Yeah, it was a
Dude,
great
can I
question.
just ask one thing? Can I just ask one thing?
You can
before
ask
I-
one thing.
Scorpion Strike. Lego Racers, right? Did you ever go to one of the Lego lands where they like show that Lego Racers movie?
I unfortunately have never been to any of the Lego theme parks. I'll still
You
have
need
to
to
do
see
that at
that
some
movie.
point.
It's like 4D, so like they spray like a little bit of cold water on you when they like slide through like the snow and stuff. And it's really neat. It's not as horrible as it sounds. It's cool.
It sounds really, really gimmicky, but
It's super gimmicky, but like 7-year-old me thought that was the coolest thing ever. And nostalgia is a hell of a drug. So
I'll keep that in mind
yes.
if I ever want to live like the Lego Racers games more closely.
yeah, boy.
Those were awesome.
All right, thanks again for your patronage,
Thank you
Scorpion
very
Strike.
much.
You did a lot of
thanks for
great.
the question.
You did a lot of great stuff for us early on in the TTV episode we did today. You kind
Yeah.
of helped us
Pretty helpful,
steer
man.
on track. Yeah, so
That's
thanks
what
again
I
for
do.
that. All right, well, talk to you later. And that's gonna be it for the live stream. As always, if you want to be able to call in or even just comment and be on the live studio audience that we have streaming here, you can go to patreon.com/TTV channel, and if not, you can just subscribe here, click the little bell notifications so you know whenever we upload a new video. We got a lot of stuff coming for you this upcoming week, so hope you guys enjoy. We'll see you later.
Bye,
I'm Jonathan.
everybody.
See you later.
Bye.
Or
I'm Var.
5.
Oh, it was you, Kai. Sorry, I'm Fweffy.
And I'm EXX Trooper.
And this was TTV Talks. Goodbye.
Later,
See you
guys.
later. Have a good day.
And